stand beneath the monolithic sarcens of Stonehenge at dawn, and it is difficult not to wonder about the scale of ambition required to raise them. Recent DNA studies have revealed a startling twist in the story of this site. The entire civilization that engineered this monument vanished almost immediately after it was completed, replaced by a population with entirely different genetic origins. To find the start of this missing culture, we have to look back to 4000 BC. The first builders were early farmers from the Mediterranean who slowly migrated across the continent to reach the British Isles. They arrived in a land dominated by nomadic hunter-gatherers, but these newcomers brought something different: agriculture, permanent settlements, and a drive to physically conquer the wild landscape. Stonehenge represents the physical conclusion of a 1500-year project, a society's final massive attempt to mark the landscape before their entire population disappeared. Around 3100 BC, they began transforming the earth, digging a massive circular ditch to define a strict boundary. Just inside, they dug 56 Aubrey holes. These weren't decorative. They served as a cemetery for the elite, marking the site as a domain for the dead. Their first major logistical feat involved hauling bluestones, monoliths with unusual acoustic properties, from the Preseli Hills in Wales. This map shows the 150-mile route they had to navigate across land and sea. Each stone weighed several tons. Without wheels or heavy animals, moving them across such a distance required a deeply organized, multi-generational effort. By moving parts of a distant mountain to mark their territory, these early farmers established total domain over the Salisbury Plain and aligned their new home with the movements of the sun. By 2600 BC, the builders shifted focus to even larger materials. They moved away from smaller bluestones to construct the iconic colossal Sarsen Circle. Dragging these new 50-ton rocks from West Woods was a staggering feat of labor. It required hundreds of workers pulling in unison just to move a single block a few inches at a time. Once at the site, they used woodworking joints adapted for stone, specifically mortise and tenon joints, to lock the horizontal lintels onto the upright pillars, a feature unique to this monument. During the winter solstice, this effort culminated in massive gatherings. We found evidence that up to 4,000 people traveled from as far away as Scotland, bringing their livestock to feast and celebrate the changing seasons. This architectural feat marked the absolute zenith of their civilization. They had achieved total mastery over engineering and social organization. But around 2500 BC, just as the monument reached its peak, a new group of people arrived from mainland Europe, the Bell Beaker culture. While the two groups initially lived side by side, a near-total population replacement was occurring beneath the surface. The data is shocking. Within a few centuries, 90% of the original Neolithic builders' gene pool was gone, replaced entirely by the newcomers. This is the core irony of the site. The society that spent generations perfecting Britain's most sophisticated ritual center vanished within centuries of finishing the work. Once the original builders were gone, the ritual purpose of Stonehenge began to fracture. Newly installed stones were poorly founded and prone to toppling over as the site's maintenance faltered. Over the following centuries, the site's sacred meaning was lost. By the Middle Ages, the monument that once hosted grand solstice festivals had become a site for Saxon executions. By the modern era, the ruins were in such poor condition they required massive scaffolding to keep the central stones upright. Restoring them eventually required modern heavy machinery and metal cranes, proving just how difficult the original Neolithic engineering was. Once the builders and their belief system were gone, the site lost its function, leaving only a massive collection of falling stones for the modern world to shore up. Today, tools like ground-penetrating radar and ancient DNA analysis have finally allowed us to bring the story of this lost civilization back to light. The site has found new life today, drawing thousands of visitors and neo-pagans who reclaim its significance every summer and winter. The stones still stand, but the hands that raised them have been lost to history. It leads us to wonder if our own ambitions will leave monuments that outlast us, or if we merely leave behind ruins for strangers to study. Subscribe to Empire Snapshots for more stories from the past.